Hey again. Alright, so we got some fancy for loop shapes here. Alright, so what we'll do now is we'll make them a bit fancier. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll just work with our loops. And what we will do is we're gonna actually make two different for loops, okay? So let's I'm gonna increase this because we have a lot of space to work with. Okay. Um and what we will do is we'll just go ahead and we're just going to use our ellipse, like I said. Let's work with our fill first. Okay, so I'm just going to make it red for now, just so we can see what's going on. And let's do no stroke. Alright, let's just check that we can get that to validate. Cool. Alright, let's go back. And let's go ahead and let's write another for loop. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a for loop inside of a for loop. So you can just, and you can change whatever values you want. I'm just kind of giving you some hints on how to get started here. Let's put this friend in here, and let's just change our vars. Let's change everything to y, or what, like literally whatever character you want to name your variables. Okay, so what we're going to do here is instead of mixing in our for loop variable directly into the shape, what we're going to use is we're going to use the translate method. So the translate method we're going to use in the next video as well, along with some mathy data points to work with some animation. So let's just start off our ellipse at, we'll do 100 by 100, and we'll make it 80 by 80. So when you rerun this, you should just have one shape, maybe. Oh, well, it's not going to run anything because it's inside the for loop, so don't worry about that. Let's indent a bit here. All right. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use that translate function, okay? So the translate function, what the translate function allows you to do is it allows you to like shift the matrix of the shape. So let's just take a look at it. Okay, so as you can see here, translate is really nice because what we can use it for is we can actually move things around. So notice how like we're not actually animating the rectangle, we are animating the translation, which is what we're going to do in a bit. So as you can see here, we just draw one rectangle and then we can call translate a bunch of times. So the rectangle stays the exact same, but we're just moving the translate. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix our for loop variables into translate rather than directly into the shape. So we'll head here, and we don't need this right now, but let's go ahead and let's just set up our code. When we use translate, translate likes to work with pop matrix and push matrix. So let's take a look at that. Oh, and it's actually just pop in P5.js, okay? So it's pop matrix, but it's just push and pop in P5.js, all right? And so what this does is it allows you to use this matrix transition. So for instance, here's the beginning and here's the end, okay? So this one inside of here is getting its own set of stroke, right? So it's getting its own separate stroke. So think of it as like a state, okay? So anything that's inside of a push and a pop, this state will only apply to whatever else is inside push and a pop. So I'd like to think of it as like this is a group, and then like this whole thing is another group. So we start a new state, and then we end the state here. So just think of it as like whatever's inside of a push and a pop will only apply to whatever shapes or objects are inside of the push and the pop. Okay, so we'll head back over here, and we'll do our push first, and then we'll do our pop down here. Okay, and then inside of here we will call, let's call translate, we can call it here, you can call it at the top as long as it's in between push and pop. I'm going to put it right above the ellipse. So we'll do translate. And I'm not sure why my hinter isn't coming up, but that's okay, we'll keep going. And we're going to mix in my x. So let's mix in the x first, and I'll show you what's going to happen. Y'all, I just forgot to close out my for loop, so let's do that, and then we, that's also why my circle wasn't showing up earlier. So let's just fix that real quick. Let me move this one over. Alright, so let's run this. So we should have just a straight across horizontal row of red circles. Perfect, okay. So what that allows me to do is every time I run this program, instead of drawing a new shape, I'm translating the shape via the update. So I'm pushing this shape over via the update every time. So 100, and then 100 more, and then 100 more, and then 100 more, until this no longer validates as true. So if I mix in my y there, okay, I can go here, and then I'll have this block, which is very nice. So that's sort of the basics. The reason why we're going to use translate is because we're going to mix in some updatable data points, and then also mix in some other updatable data points to our ellipse, so we have multiple ways of pushing our shapes around. So we'll leave that there. And what we'll do now is, just to test this out, we can go ahead and, well, before we do that, actually, let's have some fun with our fill. So let's mix in, let's do some gradient party here. So we can use the same data points here to mix in with our fill, but obviously we'll have to lower them a bit. You could use your map function for this. You can use a lot of the other functions that like will limit your data down to size, so just look up the map function again. But we'll just do this like kind of fast and dirty, so let's go ahead and we'll just call X on this one. Now, we're only going to get this to render out like 2 colors, right? Because 255 is going to be my highest for the X. So we can maybe do X like divided by 20 or I don't know, 10 or something. And let's see what we get with that. Okay, so see, get a slight little gradient here. So we can mix in some different variables here. So we can do our y divided by 10, and then let's do our x again, and let's do, I don't know, divided by 20, and let's see what we get here.